self-perception. And this is where redefining beauty comes into play, because the judges are looking for more than just a pretty face. Miss Wheelchair Texas has to motivate, she also has to inspire others. So, without further ado, I want to introduce everyone to our 3 judges. Because this year, we have 3 new judges that are highly qualified because they had the honor of selecting our 2014 Miss Wheelchair Texas. So let me introduce our first judge. Our first judge finds inspiration from the patients that she serves in her role as the clinical coordinator for the Brain Injury and Stroke Program at our Texas Institute of Rehabilitation and Research Memorial Herman, better known as TURB. And we are so grateful to have her. She's very, very compassionate, and we just appreciate her willingness to serve. Let's welcome Dawn Phillips.
Now, our next judge is
a husband, a father, a brain stem stroke survivor, and also a rocket scientist. And while the stroke left him locked in and that's paralyzed and unable to speak, he still proves that he has plenty to say and accomplish. He is a dedicated advocate to a number of spinal cord injury associations.
He works very closely with scientists, legislatures, and stroke survivors to bring change and attention to the needs of those with disabilities. And I love his motto because
his failure is not an option. Let's welcome our second judge, Mr. Earl Halvorson.
Mr. Todd Novak. If it's wheels you need, he's definitely your man. He has got the experience, the knowledge, and just the expertise. He has had years of training as an occupational
therapist in spinal cord and specialty rehabilitation. And as the Houston area sales manager for ProMobile, he uses his talents and passions for powered mobility to enrich the lifestyles of the disabled community. Let's welcome our last judge, Mr. Todd Novak.
Thank you, Jenna.
Now, earlier today, our contestants had to participate in personal interviews with the judges. And this evening, you are going to witness them as the judging continues, but this time on their personal speaking. So, all of these contestants, they have, of course, amazing stories, but you're going to hear several
recurring themes, how determination and a positive attitude can make a huge, huge difference. And while, of course, we can only have one winner, all of them are going to be honored tonight for just the amazing work that they're doing in their community. So remember, when they come on the stage, we need big applause, big cheers, right? Right? Mm-hmm. Practice. Back, I want you to let each and every one of them know how proud you are of them. But to bring our contestants on stage in style, let's welcome back the Texas A&M Ross Volunteers. Angel Arredondo from Mason, Texas. When she's not managing her daughter's country soul,
Angel devotes her time to motivating others. Her presentations on
living and parenting with a disability demonstrate her positive attitude and willingness to face adversity and faith.
She has spent a lifetime researching and discovering resources to be strong and independent. Her mission is to help others do the same through inclusion, empowerment, and acceptance. She loves writing and speaking, and one day she wants to attend college online and be a certified counselor. She describes herself as a mother, a teacher, a strong woman, and a lover of life. But those who know her best describe her simply as an angel. Let's welcome Angel Arredondo.
is Dana Carpenter from Austin, Texas. Dana is one of 5 sisters, and she embraces her family legacy of strong, independent women, and she demonstrates this persona
in both her professional life as an emerging writer and her personal life as a
volunteer for the United Cerebral Palsy, the Easter Seals, and AHA, where she currently serves as a board member for the nonprofit organization Low Income, Affordable, and Accessible Housing to Support Independent Living. She has a strong sense of health, she has a great sense of humor, and she has learned to advocate and adapt, and she divides odds and barriers in her wheelchair. She's an accomplished writer. She has a story, Jump, that was published in Carve magazine, and it's a must-read, and this is a testament to her fearless approach on life. Let's welcome Dana Carpenter.
All right, we have another Carpenter this year, 2 Carpenters. This Carpenter is Miss Deborah Carpenter, and she hails from Houston, Texas. She grew up surrounded by brothers that instilled a tough
mindset that she still embraces today, and she says that you can be and do whatever you want, you just have to do it a little differently. But after earning her paralegal certificate, she worked at Continental Airlines for almost 20 years. She loves to travel, she swam with dolphins, she parasails, she fishes, and she's also participating in professional bull riding events and much more. She does so much, and she mentors, also with the MDA. And her dream is to write a book and, of course, to win Miss Wheelchair Texas 2014. So let's welcome Miss Deborah Carpenter. Our 4th contestant
is Miss Breanne Garza. She is from Humble, Texas. She is very bubbly and outgoing, and she always seeks opportunities to teach the younger generation about challenges faced by persons with disabilities. And from the classroom of K Park High School to the participants of the Youth Leadership Forum in Austin,
from the Kiwanis Club to the Boy Scouts, she's upfront and personal, and she always shares her story about advocacy and inclusion. She dreams of attending the VAST program at Houston Community College so that she can improve her public speaking skills and gain the knowledge necessary to become an independent and contributing member of the community. She has a happy temperament, and she always has high expectations. Let's welcome Breanne Garza.
Our 5th contestant is Miss Halvorson from Plano, Texas. She has earned her undergraduate degree in early childhood education and her master's
in special education. Last year, she attended the Miss Wheelchair Texas Leadership Conference, and she learned about special funding opportunities available through DARS. And we love hearing how our conference impacts others. But she's a resourceful grant writer. She applied, and she was also awarded funding to get modifications on her new vehicle. And Laura she always wants to improve the lives of others, and she always advocates for more accessible college campuses. So let's welcome, without further ado, the lady in blue, Miss Laura Halvorson. Our 6th
contestant is from Cooper, Texas. It's Lacy Jones. And when it comes to determination and positive attitude, Lacy is a cut above.
And she is a trendsetter. She is an accomplished hairstylist, very accomplished. Her creative talents actually won her a trip to Hollywood to compete. So she dreams of becoming an instructor for the next generation of hairstylists. And in Texas, of course, where big hair is always in fashion, she says customer satisfaction is the key to success. Lacy is just full of gratitude, and she always gives back. She speaks at churches, and she sends a very important message to young people to wear your seatbelt and to turn off your cell phones when you are driving. So Lacy knows firsthand that life is a miracle of faith and a positive spirit. Let's welcome Miss Lacy Jones.
And our 7th contestant is Jenna Luzzo. She is from Austin, Texas. She has continued to serve the muscular dystrophy
Association as local and state Goodwill Ambassador, where she uses her engaging personality and personal story to bring attention to the rights and needs of others. And last year, she earned her Bachelor of Social Work from the University of Texas at Austin, where she is currently working on her master's degree in clinical social work. And once she has her license, she wants to focus on helping children and families who have experienced trauma. So let's welcome to the stage Miss Jenna Luzzo.
Our eighth contestant is Meena Outlaw. She is a lovely Brit that is turned Texan. She's an active wife and she is a mother of 3. She has varied life experience. She has multiple talents. But get this, she has worked in retail management, public relations, medical collections, and she's also a psychiatrist, a chiropractor,
and a dentist. And she is now an IT recruiter. She focuses on her full-time role right now as a wife, mother, a peer mentor, and a community advocate. She's a writer. She's an author of 2 children's books that she self-published herself. And she just has much more to accomplish. And she's actually working on building a support group in Sugar Land, in that area. And she dreams of becoming a best-selling author, and we have no doubt that she's going to accomplish that. Let us welcome Meena Outlaw. Our 9th contestant, she is from
Tyler, Texas, Sorayda Rivera. Sorayda has a great sense of humor, and she always has a desire to help others. She teaches adults to read at the East Texas Center for Independent Living. And also, she helps with the muscle walk. She works with the Children's Museum whenever possible. She also loves to play Texas Hold'em. So, as an administrative
assistant for a handicapped van manufacturer, she dreams to someday have her own handicapped van and taxi service of her own. Help me welcome Sorayda Rivera. Now, our final and 10th contestant is Miss Pam Bullock Vega from Rusk, Texas.
Pam graduated with honors 3 times. She has earned a mental health associate's degree, a bachelor of social work, and also a master's of social work. She's a licensed master's social worker. And Pam has worked as a domestic violence caseworker, manager,
community organizer, and when she's not learning, she's also teaching. So she works with the ARC of Texas, where she has taught advocacy and Texas policy, and she always impacts the lives of others. And what she wants to do in the future is start a private social work practice, as well as starting a nonprofit that targets individuals with disabilities who are domestic violence victims. So let's welcome our last contestant, Pam.
Now, all these ladies, they have a great list of accomplishments. They look beautiful, but let's give them a big round of applause. One more time. Our Texas A&M Ross volunteers are the dancing.
Hey!
All right, now you girls have had a busy week this week, right? So you met each
other, you had a cocktail reception, you had a good time. But this was the first opportunity for the judges to meet our contestants. And yesterday, our contestants had the opportunity to even talk with experts in the disability field and a leadership conference. You guys played games, you ate pizza, you had lots of laughs, and you had a really good time. But this morning, you guys started
off bright and early with the judges, right? And, there were presentations on leadership skills and just dealing with the media, women's health issues, and just different things, and also talking to former Texas title holders. But then following a luncheon, honoring, of course, our current Miss Wheelchair Texas, Haley, the girls enjoyed, which was something that's very special. It's Miss Wheelchair Spa, provided by our partners, Visible Changes. So let's give them an applause.
Now, tomorrow the royal breakfast to celebrate the results of tonight. But
I think it's time to move on, right? Let's move on to the final competition, because that's what we're all here for, right? Right. Okay, so we've already told you about the criteria and the judging procedures, but now we want to hear from our contestants, right? Y'all ready? Y'all look beautiful. Y'all are ready, right? I heard some of y'all were nervous, but there's no reason to be nervous.
first up, we have the very lovely lady in blue and blinged out, Miss Angel Arredondo.
Before I ever had a wheelchair, I had a little red wagon. That little red wagon allowed me freedom to be a kid. That little red wagon was the whole existence of me playing and being just like all the others. Even though I constantly fell down and had about
100 raspers in my hair, I still had to get from point A to point B. That experience also gave me mobility, strength, and the will for a high quality of life. Isn't it amazing how life's simple pleasures teach us the value of our existence? And this very day, because of that little red wagon, either my nails or my lipstick is red. But keep in mind, I wouldn't have my mobility or my independence had it not been for the people that pushed or pulled me along the way. So now it's my turn to take part in the pulling and the pushing toward their independence, hopefully without raspers or bumps on their heads. My first step in this journey involves sharing my story. My hope is to change the perception of weakness in a disability. I want to show others that with enough determination, everything is possible. In doing so, I'm so proud to be the founder of Project Hope Rolls. This foundation was created to better serve the disabled community by providing them with the basic daily essentials in care packages. Most of the physically challenged live on fixed incomes, which limits them in many ways in the workforce. The mission of Project Hope Rolls is to show them the level of importance to society with dignity and respect. We will reach many and will continue to bring a hands-on awareness to society. With that being said, awareness and change can make you feel afraid and vulnerable. There were days when I didn't want to get on my red wagon because of the fear of falling down. But instead, all I needed was to take control of the person pushing or pulling and show them how I wanted to move. It's time for me to get out of my red wagon and into the crown. To make the adjustments in a larger scale, including confidence in your self-identity and in our legislation. So I leave you with these words, and I'd really like for you to repeat after me. Tell yourself that you accept who you are. That was weak. We're going to try this again. Tell yourself that you accept who you are.
I accept who I am.
You are a person with social rights.
I'm a person with social rights.
And interests who loves life. You are a person who has the power to make a difference. You're not living disabled. You are living. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. Next to speak is Dana Carpenter.
Good evening. My name is Dana Carpenter, and I'm very excited to be here with all of you. And I'd like to thank you for sharing your Saturday night with us to help celebrate the accomplishments of these amazing women on stage. This past September, I got a new job. Go me! After being unemployed for almost 3 years, I've come to appreciate the weekends again. Ever since I can remember, I couldn't wait to get my first job. I think it was probably more that I would be earning money to go shopping. But probably the bigger part is that I wanted to be part of something bigger than myself. I wanted to earn my keep and be a productive member of society. I probably have the two best role models to bring this work ethic out with me. And those are my grandmother and my mother. My grandma started working when she was 14 and didn't stop until she was well into her 70s. And then there was my mom, who didn't know she was having twins until the day she went into labor. If that wasn't daunting enough, she soon realized she would be raising us alone. Then, about a year later, I stopped meeting the same milestones that my twin sister was meeting. After rounds and rounds of tests, my mom was given the diagnosis of SMA. I was told that I wouldn't live to see my second birthday. Not one to give up, my mom took me home and raised me alongside my twin. When she got a tricycle, I got a tricycle. When she got in trouble, I got in trouble. And when it was time for kindergarten, she stood up for me and made sure I got to go alongside her. And even though my muscles began to get weaker, my mind and spirit grew stronger. Because of her not seeing the limitations in myself, in me, I didn't see them in myself. I graduated high school with honors and moved away to college, where I got a BA in psychology. And then I moved to Austin, where I got that first job in the nonprofit sector, where I stayed many years. During this time, however, I faced many obstacles getting to and from work, and in getting the accommodations that I needed. Unfortunately, I'm the only one that's gone through this. And as of February of this year, only 19% of people with disabilities are employed. And that's compared to 70% of those without disabilities. And because of this, I'm determined to make work-at-home opportunities not only a viable option for people with disabilities, but a common option. I want companies to be aware of the challenges we face. And one of the biggest obvious barriers is the transportation. It's especially true in rural areas where public transportation is not even an option. Working from home would allow people with disabilities to be in the environment that's already set up to their needs. And they'll be in their most accessible environment. This would decrease the need for reasonable accommodations, which can sometimes be a burden on employers. And I might look familiar to a few of you, because I was on this very stage last year, competing in the Miss Wheelchair Texas competition. I'm still living independently in my wonderful, affordable, accessible house. But now it has even more significance, because it's not only where I live, but it's where I work. I work for a company called Marriott Software as a I can't even say what I work for. It rolls off the tongue very nicely. Sales development researcher. And I have the opportunity to work 40 hours a week from home. I'm surrounded by a wonderful team who includes me in any way and every way as I grow into the position. They understand the obstacles that a person in my situation faces. But with technology and a lot of improvising, we made it work, and I think we've got a pretty good model. So if I'm chosen to be the next Miss Wheelchair Texas, I will take this successful work story of mine and share it with companies and show them that with a little ingenuity, they can too hopefully be part of a paradigm shift. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Next, we have the lovely Deborah Carpenter.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. I was born with SMA type 1 and given a life expectancy of 2 years. I'm proud today to say I'm 46 years old and have been married 23 years. I pretty much was raised like my brothers. Civilian rivalry, the chores, fights and grandmas during the summer. But the main thing I was taught was that I could do anything anybody else could. Maybe just in a little different way. So I graduated from high school with a 4-year scholarship, and I got a paralegal certificate, and then went on to work for Continental Airlines for 16 years. I'm now developing a website to assist kids and teens with interacting socially through the internet. And I'm also an active participant in several disability-focused groups, such as Living with MD, Ask an Adult About Living with MD, and Reach for Kids. Many children don't get the chance to develop social and living skills due to circumstances beyond their control. But with the internet being readily available, it opens up a whole new world to them. So I am hoping to, as Miss Wheelchair Texas, help kids realize what resources are available to them. And I've developed a chat group where they can interact with each other and know that they're not alone. And I hope to raise awareness in the public about disabilities and obstacles that children, teens, and adults go through when they have a disability. And I plan to mentor to our future generation the same thing that I was taught, that you can do anything you want and accomplish all of your goals. You may just do it in a different way. Thank you.
Next, our lovely lady in gold, Miss Breanne Garza.
Hi. How's everybody doing? When I was first diagnosed with cerebral palsy, they told my parents I would never read, write, or learn. That motivated me to prove them wrong. Since then, I've graduated from high school, started my own website, and launched my public speaking career through my school district and surrounding area. I participated in many activities which allows me to use my voice, such as Best Buddies of America and Youth Leadership Forum. Sorry.
You take your time. Take your time.
When I was first diagnosed with cerebral palsy, they told my parents I would never read, write, or learn. But since then, I've proved them wrong. I've graduated from high school, started my own business, and launched my public speaking career throughout my school district and surrounding area. As Miss Wheelchair Texas, it is my promise, it is my commitment to teach others that success and happiness is a way of life. That's what I want to leave you with tonight. It doesn't matter what you look at, it just matters where you come from. I have a saying, love your abilities, but embrace your disability. As Miss Wheelchair Texas, it is my promise, it is my commitment to teach others to be thankful for what they have. Thank you.
You know, public speaking is hard, but I think all these ladies are doing an amazing, amazing job. Good job. And next we have another lovely lady in blue, Miss Laura Halvorson.
It has officially been half my life since I was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. In high school, I was told by the doctor that I would eventually have to use a wheelchair. After hearing that, I spent a good chunk of my teenage years and early 20s trying to fight using a wheelchair in fear that my life would somehow be over or I would After her spinal cord injury, she went on to receive her doctorate and do many great things, have an amazing career, and travel all over the world. On our trip to Norway a few years ago, she helped me realize that life isn't so bad, even if, as she said, if you're at eye level with people's butts all the time. Everyone needs that type of person in their life, and I aspire to be that person for people with disabilities. My aunt inspired me to go on to college and get my master's degree in special education. I have always had a strong desire to help others, but when I was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy, I don't and I became a special education teacher. I now volunteer my time for Camp Craig Allen, an amazing organization that educates, advocates, and inspires people with physical disabilities through our various programs. It was through Camp Craig Allen that I found out about power wheelchair hockey, and with our partnering organizations, I found out about adaptive water skiing. After doing these activities, I found it to be the most empowering and freeing experience. I love this so much that I'm now the program director for Camp Craig Allen, and we've also formed the first North Texas Wheelchair Hockey League, which I'm the commissioner for. Organizations like this exist all throughout Texas, and it's important for the public to be aware of them. It was through the help of the resources around me and the support around me that I realized that life still rolls on despite your limitations, through education, advocacy, and inspiration, even if you're at the eye level of people's butts all the time. For better success living with a disability, a person needs to educate themselves, find their passion, and excel at it. I encourage people with disabilities to educate themselves continually and on the resources and programs around them. As Miss Wheelchair Texas, I will educate the general public, businesses, and government officials on issues of people with disabilities and how to better include us into society. It is also important to advocate for yourself and for others. If you know of resources around you, share them. Through social media and other forms of communication, these resources can be shared. Living with a disability, it is important to find inspiration and be inspiration to others in order for everyone to do great things. Through advocacy, education, and inspiration, many things are possible despite one's disability. As Miss Wheelchair Texas, I plan on breaking down architectural and attitudinal barriers for people with disabilities and showing that life still rolls on despite your limitations through advocacy, education, and inspiration. Thank you.
And next we have the beautiful Miss Lacy Jones.
Hey. Okay, prom. How do you picture your prom night? Well, let me tell you about my prom night 6 years ago. Being ejected 265 feet, waking up in Parkland, I was paralyzed from the waist down. I was wearing a halo from a neck brace. I couldn't breathe on my own because I had punctured lungs. I thought my life was over. I thought that, how am I going to live my life from a wheelchair? How am I going to do this? Only to find out that it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Ever since I was in junior high, I always wanted to become a hairdresser. I've always wanted to make people beautiful, just for anything. Well, in 2012, after 2 beauty schools denied me because of my disability, I found one in Greenville, Texas that accepted me, and I graduated the top of my class in 2012. After beauty school and going into a salon and getting used to everything and being excited about being a hairdresser, I wanted to be more independent than I was. So I decided I would move out on my own and get my own apartment, which brought me to my disability issue, independent living. I think that all houses should already be handicap accessible. We shouldn't have to worry about going out and trying to find an apartment, living by ourselves. Is it going to be handicap accessible? Is the doors going to be wide enough? Are the bathrooms going to be suitable for whatever disability that you have? Are their clothing rods going to be high enough so, like me, I break my hangers every time I pull clothes down? I think it's not fair. I think all houses being built these days should already be handicap accessible. It should be equal. Also, moving out on my own, I've come to find easier ways of accomplishing things from a wheelchair that an able-bodied person wasn't able to teach me in therapy because they weren't in our shoes. So as Miss Wheelchair Texas, I would love to go into physical therapy facilities and teach newly injured spinal cord injury patients the easier way that I learned when I moved out on my own of doing everyday things. Not only do I want to teach spinal cord injury patients, I would love to teach newly injured disabled people just like these girls that life is not over. Just because you have an injury from birth, from an accident, from anything, that it's okay to be in a chair. I mean, mine's pink. Who doesn't want a pink wheelchair? I just want to show people that you can go out and you can be a hairdresser. You can be anything that you set your mind to be. And that I want to tell them that it's okay to be in a chair. It's okay. And to go out and embrace and show people that you're Lacy Jones. You're not Lacy Jones in a wheelchair. You're not Lacy Jones in wheels. You're not disabled. You're just Lacy Jones. Thank you.
And next we have the fabulous Miss Jenna Luzzo.
Being told by doctors that your 9-month-old baby girl would not live to see the age of 2. Sound familiar? Well, my parents were told, take your daughter, make memories, love her, and enjoy the time you have left. I never my parents dovetailed with that, or hear those words, and feel useless, unpowered, and have no right to turn. Clearly, the doctors got it wrong. Because here I am today, 22 years old, graduate student at the University of Texas. Go Horns. My passion is transition. I would love to educate doctors, medical physicians, families that we are living, we aren't going anywhere, and there need to be answers. So, as Miss Wheelchair America, well, Texas first. As medicine and technology advances, so does education. And I vow that I would educate others, educate medical physicians, health physicians, and families on transitioning into the adult world. And I know that together, as a group, and with your support, we can see that change. Thank you.
Next we have another lovely lot of pretty green and blue. But Miss Meena Outlaw.
First things first,
I'm going to clear up a misconception in all. Fully able people that are parents, especially moms, are called very boring. We don't do anything. Let me tell you something. This is what I am. Right here. I'm not just a big mom, but there are times my children don't want me to go out the house. They're okay with me staying indoors, but that will never stop. I wanted to talk to you tonight about something that is so dear to my heart, and it is the life that I live. And this is how I came about with my platform, Inclusive Parenting. This means that I will make sure that all persons with a disability are provided the resources to make an informed decision to become a parent. This does not exclude, however, those people with all disabilities, because everybody should be able to have accessible information readily available. I've been paralyzed. I had my spinal cord injury 14 years, and I'm very comfortable with my paralysis now. Well, unless you tell me to get up a ramp, or get up a curb, or maybe something higher than me, but, that's a whole other story. But the truth of the matter is, I have a very full life. I am a self-published and a published author. I got picked up by a publisher this year. My third release will be out this summer. And I am a homemaker, and I have been raising my two children who are now teenagers, and that's why my hair looks great, because I dye it all the time. But as an added blessing, I have been married to my best friend for 7 years. And 2.5 years ago, we had an unexpected pregnancy. You would have thought if I had 2 children before, I would have known I was pregnant. It took me 2.5 months to realize, I wonder why I'm so sick. And so, after 5 EPT tests and my daughter yelled at me and saying, Mom, I thought you said you're supposed to use protection. I went ahead and went to my doctor's office, Jenna Luzzo's office, and it was only at that time that I learned that this pregnancy was going to be much different than the last 2. I was labeled high risk and possibly unable to carry. Well, let me tell you, Jamie was born and I pushed him out, and did I feel the most powerful that I've ever felt before in my entire life. And that would only happen because I found that right type of doctor.
and now he is publishing his works so that there are more like him. So you see, inclusive parenting has already begun. After having Jamie, it has been such a pleasure to be the mom that I have become and the person that I have become. I feel that if I can make this information available to anybody, any mother, any person with a disability will be able to find themselves to be able to connect with the right type of people. For instance, for a parent that would want to know how to learn to take care of their child from a wheelchair, well, if this information was available by creating a list of providers in all capacities, then they would be able to connect to the right type of therapist so that they can learn such techniques as how to hold your child from a wheelchair when you're trying to wheel around and do other things, or transfer your 5.1-ounce newborn into a vehicle safely, or your 35-pound baby, which I have now. And so it is my goal and my absolute promise that I am going to ensure that every person with a disability has that information in written form. I will make sure it's distributed to everybody that needs to know where you go to be able to take care of your child. Inclusive parenting will also include bringing together manufacturers of baby products and nationally recognized stores together so that we can have those items available to be able to take care of our children at any time. You should not have to go drag your 16-year-old neighbor because you found out that he's really good at carpentry and make you a crib. But before I do that, I've already got it patented and copyrighted, so don't worry about that. We'll figure out that part. But in the meantime, I do believe with all my heart and my soul that Miss Wheelchair Texas and Inclusive Parenting will be so successful in working together to make sure to further educate so that no aspect of being a disabled parent is ever overlooked. And I will make it an absolute promise that I will carry the platforms of all my new sisters. And no matter what happens tonight, I probably had one of the best times in my entire life. I've grown so much in these past 3 days that I've ever felt like I've ever grown before. And I will show everybody and display just how strong and talented and forthright we really are to live such independent and happy and full lives. Thank you.
And next up, we have the fabulous Miss Sorayda Rivera.
Okay, so a friend of mine acquired 2 new puppies. She named one of them Rolex and the other Timex. What is in those names, I asked. Her short and friendly response was, "Hello, someday these puppies will grow up to be watchdogs." In the spirit of her timely response, "Hello, my name is Sorayda Rivera, and I live in Tyler, Texas. It is now my time, my ambition, and it would be my honor to be your next Miss Wheelchair Texas representative. It's my profound goal to use my lifetime wheelchair experiences to help empower others like me. How do you ask? By using my positive attitudes and to be a strong advocate, educate, inform, and open doors so others can be like me. And so they can open doors to new horizons. At the age of 3, I was diagnosed with a form of muscular dystrophy. Doctors told my parents I only had 4 more years to live. As you can see today, I'm a very much alive, strong, Hispanic, independent woman who can do anything. That's a long way ago from 7 years old. When asked about my determination, I always tell people I'm a Mexican and not a Mexicant. As Miss Wheelchair Texas, I will give people all abilities, the tools to empower themselves, pushing them out of their cocoons and allowing them to learn to wear their wheelchair instead of allowing their chairs to wear them. My platform is the importance of finding you. I will continue working through social media and the internet, going statewide and nationwide if needed to fulfill my platform. True story. I met a man once via social media, internet, and he is now a really good friend of mine. He didn't have a name, he didn't have a profile picture, but his screen name was Wheels. I messaged him and I said, "Hey, are you a wheelchair user too?" He responded, after a couple of days. He was very shy, very embarrassed, and he said, "Yes, I am a part-time wheelchair user." He was an amputee. He is an amputee. He was very introverted, never wanted to go out. I pushed him and nagged him. I was like, "You need to come out and water ski." I love water skiing. I love the water. After he came out, we met for the first time. He water skied. I asked him, "Why is it that you don't have a profile picture?" He said, "I'm ugly. I'm ugly." After long talks with him, I said, just because you don't have a leg doesn't make you ugly. You're beautiful on the inside. So now his profile picture is a picture of himself, and he's now empowering other people with disabilities. We need to learn to break the chains of our physical limitations. Being Miss Wheelchair Texas is more than a title. It's a tremendous opportunity to educate and empower everyone through timely communications and collaborations. I would be honored to be your next Miss Wheelchair Texas. And just like rolling from Timex, the time for this Mexican to be your next Miss Wheelchair Texas is now. Good evening.
And last, but certainly not least, let's welcome to the stage Miss Pam Bullock Vega.
Imagine for a moment a world that all people could access. Plenty of ample parking spaces. Accessible bathrooms in every store, entertainment venue, and restaurant. Ramps available to get into every building. It is barrier-free for all people. My name is Pam Bullock Vega. I was born with spina bifida. I walked with short leg braces until 2000, when I ended up getting a non-healing wound and was in the wheelchair and used it for mobility. But that didn't hinder me from achieving a bachelor's degree, a master's degree in social work. I am now a licensed master social worker. During the time I was going to school, I faced the challenge of reliable transportation, as most of us here have experienced. After 5 years of testifying to Congress, speaking to agencies, and working closely with advocacy group, the policy for van modifications was rewritten. I was the first person in this state to get a modified van under the new policy. By advocating for myself, I have opened the doors for others to benefit. Sharing my skills of leadership, advocacy, and promoting self-reliance, I am paving the way for us to live barrier-free. Next time you're at a store, or a restaurant, or an entertainment venue, watch how many people use the ramp instead of stairs. People that use strollers, elderly people. All of those people would rather use the ramp than the stairs. Accessibility is necessary for all of us. The title of Miss Wheelchair Texas will allow me the opportunity to advocate for better accessibility and educate community leaders and representatives about barriers we face daily. As Miss Wheelchair Texas 2014, I will advocate for that accessibility and empower other women with disabilities to become leaders in their community. Thank you.
Now let's give every lady up here a big round of applause. You all did really good.
Now is the final judging session. So each contestant, you're going to be
asked an on-stage question from the judges, and to make it fair, the judge's name is going to be pulled out of a hat and selected at random. But this time we're going to go in reverse alphabetical order, which means Pam, you are first. Pam Bullock Vega. She might as well have stayed up there. Sorry, Pam. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, did you say Todd? Yeah. All right. One moment, please. Hi, Pam.
Hi.
The number of students with disabilities being homeschooled is on the rise. What is your opinion of this educational option?
Well, I didn't go to school until I was in second grade. I was homebound because had cast and they wouldn't let me go to school. I think that being social with people and being interactive with people puts us a little more in the realm of being able to see what we go through and have that socialization with other people. If we're not out there, they're not going to know us. And we need to let them know that, hey, we're out here just like you are, and, you know, we're not going anywhere.
All right, thank you, Pam.
Next we have Sorayda Rivera.
Sorry, as a title holder, what do you want people to see in you? I'm sorry, that's the wrong question.
Okay, I feel better now.
We asked that question earlier this morning, so we to our evening questions. What would you do as Miss Wiltshire
Texas to empower all Texas women, both with and without disabilities?
What will I do is empower all women with disabilities and non-disabilities. I think it's very important that you need to find your, I learned this yesterday and I hope it's not copywritten. Miss Debbie, you need to find your soul lane. I think it's very important to find out who you are, whether you're in a disability or not. We all have our issues, we all have our, our downfalls, but you can't focus on the negative, you have to focus on the positive. Whether you're walking, whether you're, you have crutches, whether you walk perfectly fine, if you get a fit and you're insecure, whatever the reason may be, you have to find who you are as a person and go out there and be the best person you can be.
Meena Outlaw. Meena.
Dawn.
You are.
Do I get your first question?
All right. Meena, if you won Miss Wiltshire, Texas, how would you reach out to others with different disabilities?
I think it's important not to just reach out to people with disabilities just because you're disabled. I think it's just as, if not more important, to reach out to the fully able people. I live in Sugar Land, Texas. I feel like I'm the only one at times that is out in a wheelchair, and I know I'm not. And I'm a firm believer in you have to see it to believe it. And that really has been my existence for the past 14 years, is to show everybody how I am in this chair, how I take care of my kids. I drive my kids to school, pick them up, go to parent-teachers meetings, go to a business meeting, talk to my publisher, send in a manuscript, and then go maybe even talk to someone who's asked me to go speak for them. And most cases, it's been fully able people. I have not just spoken to the disabled. My favorite of all is speaking to children, especially that are not disabled, because they have so many questions for us, and it's just the most beautiful moment in the world when they can step away from maybe thinking that they're being rude and asking you a question, and you could just be so free in answering, and you know that you've made such a powerful addition into their lives. It's going to lead them to remember something for themselves and their families for when they get older.
Next up is Jenna.
This is so nerve-wracking.
It is. One moment. Okay. Okay, Jenna. You have 1 minute on CNN to deliver your message to the world, tell me what you would say.
Just because I have a wheelchair and might look different doesn't mean I am different. I have desires and dreams just like everyone of you. My chair is not a defining adjective. It's simply a characteristic of who I am. And that's true what the world needs to know.
Great. Thank you.
I'm glad I practiced reading all these. All right, number 5. Okay. One moment, please. Okay, Lacy. What do you think might set you apart from the other contestants in this pageant, and why?
I think what would set me apart from them is I'm a hairdresser. I make people beautiful. And that I am really passionate about helping people and making it known, because I live in a small town, that it's okay, to be in a chair. Even though there's probably like 3 of us in our small town with spinal cord injuries, I make it seem like there's a lot of people with spinal cord injuries. I get up and talk and make it known. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Lacy.
Ms. Laura?
Yes, thank you.
Here we go.
B, to my question is, what are the pros and cons of social media for the disabled community?
Can you repeat that question one more time for me?
So, what?
To my question is, what are the pros and cons of social media for the disabled community?
Pros and cons of social media.
Okay, the pros is, a lot of people, if they're especially in rural communities, they don't have the opportunity, to see other people, have disabilities. So it's a good way for them to connect with people all over the world. I've connected with people overseas that have the same disability as me, and it's just amazing. We can all share resources with each other. The cons would be, the lack of privacy. I would say you sometimes have some people that will act like they're disabled and try to interact with you. So that would definitely be a con, for the bullying and things like that. But overall, I think social media is a great way to communicate and share resources.
Breanne?
B, 9, my question is this: when you win the Miss Wheelchair Texas title, you win the opportunity to be a spokesperson on behalf of millions of Texans with disabilities. How do you begin reaching out to them?
Can you repeat the question? I didn't understand.
So, if you become Miss Wheelchair Texas, how would you reach out to the millions of Texans with disabilities?
What would be my absolute goal and my promise to raise awareness about people with disabilities and just teach them that, you know, it's not about a disability, we are empowered to make a difference.
And Deborah Carpenter.
All right, you ready?
Ready?
B7, here is my question for you. If a foreign visitor with a disability arrived in the United States, what would you tell them about the Miss Wheelchair Texas organization?
That's a very good question.
I would definitely tell them that how it empowers people with disabilities to feel that they can do anything, they can travel, they can get around in a city, and also how helpful with resources, finding resources that the Miss Wheelchair Texas organization is. There's always someone that you can contact, and if they don't know, they'll contact their friend, and it's just a huge network of resources. That's wonderful.
And Dana Carpenter.
Man of the hour.
Hello. What influenced you to join this pageant?
I would mind if I didn't say Angela. She's very influential person. But on top of that, I joke that I am not a very girly girl, even though I come from a family of all women. And so what initially drew me to the competition is to have these few days of feeling awesome and feeling beautiful and feeling empowered. And it's the same reasons that brought me back this year.
And our final contestant in this category, Angel.
Angel, what would you do as Miss Wheelchair Texas to motivate America's youth with disabilities?
I think that question really suits me. I used to be a substitute teacher, and every
day before class, I would have a Q&A session. It took up about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what all they wanted to know. And later, I realized that they were probably just trying to lose more class time. So I started limiting the questions to, you can only ask me one time throughout the day. If I came back again and substituted in the same class,
they expected another Q&A session, but I never fell for it. But I realized that having those 10 or 15 minutes really engaged the child to me. I also used to be a toddler teacher, so I know my toddlers looked at me as RoboCop or something like that because they really listened to everything I told them to do. But as the children got older, who I started working with, they trusted me more. And I feel like having them know me more instead of a machine and able to tell them what to do and what not to do, they looked at me as a role model. And I know they would come to me for any little thing they need. So I think it really helped the fact that they were able to ask me whatever they wanted. And not one question was a stupid one. And so having done that, they realized that we were all different, but it was okay. And they accepted themselves as well, and all their little flaws. And if they had their hands too dirty, or if they didn't shower that night, that was a big thing. But they accepted exactly what they wanted to be, who I was, and how important each one of them were.
Now it's hard to get in front of people and to talk, but you all have nothing to worry about. Each and every one of y'all did a great job. Let's give a big round of applause.
Now, Phil Dart, he is going to be tallying the judges'
scores. He's our independent accountant. But let's welcome to the stage our Miss Wheelchair Texas board members, Kristen Evans and a former Miss Wheelchair Texas, Michelle Halvorson. They have some exciting news for us tonight.
Is this thing on? Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle.
Hi, and I'm Kristen. Shout out to Table 10. I had to do it, sorry. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here tonight. Each story of courage and determination has a backstory. The heroes and the heroines of the real-life stories are the medical community whose research and technology and genius provide treatment and tools and hope to patients and their families from all over the world.
Well, for many of us, Tier Memorial Hermann is a game changer and a lifesaver. And this year, we are so proud and so excited to announce that Tier Memorial Hermann has agreed to partner with the Miss Wheelchair Texas Foundation. And I can tell you that it's personal and emotional. This is a huge step and an honor for our foundation.
And to talk about this exciting partnership is Tier's CEO, a colleague of our Angel Advocate Award, and also my boss, Carl Joeshart.
Thank you all. I'm humbled to be on the stage with people who live every day such amazing journeys. And thank you for your efforts in building a diverse, accessible, and inclusive community here in Texas and across the country. TIR Memorial Hermann shares your vision to support and encourage advocacy, achievement, and communication as instruments to build a community where every person is valued for his or her abilities and contributions and are full participants in public life. The Miss Wheelchair Texas organization and TIR Memorial Hermann are both leaders in highlighting the realities of life with a disability, balanced with messages and examples of optimism and hope. We share a mission to serve as an inspiration for those living with disabilities and to be spokespersons to the larger community advocating for equal access. When I was asked why TIR believes so strongly in the work of Miss Wheelchair Texas, I really had to look no further than the pictures on the walls of TIR Memorial Hermann. One of those pictures is of a woman named Nita Weil. In the America of the early 1950s, Nita Weil had it all. She was 21 and beginning a modeling career in New Orleans, happily married